when the climate activists who have been very supportive of what you've done and you've been very supportive of what they've done read this, and if Greta Thunberg is reading this and saying to herself, my goodness, he seems like he is reversing himself, what would you tell her?
This is all wrong.
I'd say, wasn't the goal here to improve human lives? And shouldn't we, in our awareness of how little generosity there is to help, measure, should we get them a measles vaccine, or should we do some climate related activity?
You have stolen my dreams.
If we stop funding all vaccines and that, saved you 0.1 degree, would that be a smart trade-off? That's the kind of question we have to ask.
I do not want to believe that.
So I'm a climate activist, but I'm also a child survival activist.
How dare you?
To a certain degree, I kind of, respect his flip-flop. How was he going to go to the grave with that nonsense? Maybe. A lot of people will. That's the funny thing, is that in these types of polarized taboos, which they basically become, right? Even though he flip-flops, it actually galvanizes that part of the population that still believes it and will always believe it. In fact, this just makes him a villain to add to their list of villains that go against them. So it will actually galvanize, and no one there will really go, oh, what, really? Willie Gates doesn't think this anymore? Well, I guess I was wrong. That's not the way they think. That's not how humans human. They get galvanized. Their ideals get stronger, and they just take it to the mat, and they die on that hill, no matter what, until it's not fashionable, right? That's what really happens, because if they're not getting any significance out of it by being it, then they slowly just kind of like, my rule number one is never say goodbye from a party, right? So these people that are desiring significance by being activists, when it's no longer a party to be at, they're just kind of like, I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to go. And they shut the door. And then people will say, hey, where did activist number 6704 go? I don't know. And the activist 6704 was like, what do you mean? I was never at the party. Why would I be at the party? I'm not at that party. You were at that party for years, actually. No. That was a different activist. I'm on to the next thing. So I stand behind the next thing. That's what I'm kind of doing now with my time, and not money, just time. Another interesting thing is when you see all this, the New York mayor, the communist guy, he's interviewing millionaires. Like, the cognitive dissonance is at levels that George Orwell couldn't even imagine or dream up. Interviewing millionaires, and maybe the millionaires are the stupid ones, right? Maybe, was it Mondavi? Is that his name? Maybe he's having the last laugh. He's like, looking at these stupid cucks here. I'm actually talking about redistributing their money. And here they are, yeah, this is great, right? Until they, it's like, well, actually part of this is we're going to have to take your house too. Oh, never say goodbye. And they leave the party, right? That's what you'll see, because everything's fine until it like lands on your beach and like, ooh, what? No, thank you. You see videos like that all the time where they interview university kids, and they're like, well, would you like to give up your seat in this university for, some immigrant? And they're like, oh, never say goodbye. They leave. You see it all the times. All the time. You see it all the time. Wick says no one likes Mondani. It's Mondani. I thought it was Mondavi. Mondani. Everyone just hates Ecamm. Well, that's kind of like how politics works. It's not so much that you want this person, you just don't want the other, right? It's an interesting game with humans. Well, I don't really like the guy I voted for. I just really hate the other guy. Why? Never say goodbye. Now, we got a little bit of a pump for ants. You know, listen, it's better than fulfilling the prophecy of this doodle down to 104. We ended up getting to 106.4. So we were $2.6 thousand away. It's probably less than 1%, 2% away from fulfilling it. Now, that would have been back in the day, like in the bear market. I would have made a video of that saying it did fulfill, because within 1%, that was like so close back in the 30s, 40s, 50s. But now, you know, it seems far. You know, this seems like a massive overreach by the doodle. Really, it's just let's see how little it is actually. 1.7%. So it didn't fulfill by 1.7%. Now back in the bear market, in the lower numbers, that would have been a fulfilling of the bear market. And you would have told you show Lord love a duck, right? However, we are getting rejected from our old bear flag. Well, we'll put it back there so you can all see what that was. That was a bear flag. We're getting rejected from its support, now acting as resistance. Oh, look at this. I didn't even turn on my piano for this. Now acting as resistance. So there we are. We basically, this is what we got to do today to put a Band-Aid back on an open wound, which is Choketober. We need to get above 114.1, which is right here. Oh, look at that, 200 moving average. This is why I'm kind of bullish on maybe doing this today, is that there's a ton of confluence at this area. So this is the 200 moving average plus this channel of ascension, right? We go to the weekly or the monthly, and that would turn Choketober green just by the hair of its chinny chin chin, though. Just by the hair of the chinny chin chin. That's right. Homer into the bush. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so then we would still have a Choketober by all sense and purposes, right? But it wouldn't be red. So I'll take a Choketober green rather than a red October. Take a look at the weekly here. Now, let's do some bad news, because you know the algorithm loves bad bearish news. But you know, this is what some legacy analysts would call they'd call it a bear flag, right? Pretty solid bear flag. Maybe, you know, by the time next week's candle prints, it's definitely a bonafide. Bonafide or bonafide? Oh, it's bonafide, right? Because one of the guys at the auction I used to work at, his company was named Bonafide, which was a play on bonafide, but his last name was Boda. That's how that works. And so if we will just keep this channel of ascension's support as, or resistance as, I didn't press text, as the top of the bear flag, put this in as the bottom, and then of course you take the pull, you slide it all to the breakout point, and then we're all at, oh, there's an old 1.618 number down there, and that's that 88K level, which we've talked about. So 88K of this massive bear flag on the weekly would also be Bruce Mai. So you don't work at the auction anymore? No, that was one of your indicators. Yeah. Well, when I was on my last legs there, because again, I'm a horrible employee, because I'll just go and do the job and I'll do it the best. Just leave me the F alone. Don't talk to me about anything. Don't round the edges. I don't need any corporate, but they begin getting corporate again. You know, this is the way we do things, but no one does it. But the people that telling me that this is the way they do things, they don't do it that way. So I was just like, I'm going to have to take this microphone. I'm going to have to shove it up your Adirondacks. I'm out of here. And then, so yeah, but as on my last days there, it was getting so thin, like we were just dropping lanes, right? So the auction itself had 6 lanes pumping. And by the time I was done, there was 3 lanes. And that was like a busy auction. So it got cut in half. On the daily chart, you can see this massive head and shoulders plays out to 88K too. So we have 88K on the daily, 88K on the weekly. Confluence, that's at 88K, right? Not saying we have to. We may seen the bottom for now, until maybe another all-time high, and then we come, feathering down. Kind of like we've been doing all year. Well, if you think about it, like we're at 110.2 or 110, it says on that, but on this chart it says 110.2. Those oracles, they're just pumped. They just can't get it right? They got one thing to do, just can't get it right. And so we've been at this price for a year. And you might know, I don't know if you noticed, but that thumbnail was all trannies. Winning Women of the Year. Just to put it up again, I guess, just so, in case you didn't get it. Those women won Women of the Year. I actually called them women. They won Women of the Year, like instead of women. Now that's why, like, when I see those things, I feel sorry for women. They got a heart. They got to have babies. That's tough. Like, men get a cold and it's cancer, right? Like the weird times I do get cold, I'm like, this is it. This is it. Obviously, this is it, right? This cold, this is it. I should have known better. I should have. I had a good run. I started going through all the circling the drain over a cold. And then 2 days later, I'm like, yeah, I feel pretty good, I guess. Yeah, well, I guess it wasn't the big C. I'll be okay. Anyway, women have babies. Like, the pain threshold is immense. And every time I see one of these things, like men becoming women and taking their things, it's so gross to me, because it's like, don't women deserve this before men? Do I even have to ask the question? It seems crazy to me, but that's what the bull run seems like, right? It seems like a bunch of men pretending they're women. Really, the sentiment throughout is pretty insane, and it kind of makes me bullish, because when the crybabies come out and they start packing, you see that those stock things where it's like, that's it, everybody, I sold everything and I'm out. It's like everyone starts copying and pasting that stuff. That sentiments hit a nice little rounding bottom. Now, what I like about this 4-hour chart here is that we're not leaving a wick unturned, so to speak. Like all these wicks. Yeah, because that which once wicked will get candlesticked. And unfortunately, for the past 3 years, it's always been on the downside, really. Obviously, we just haven't had that many wicks to the upside. We haven't had like complete blow off candles and then retraced. We've always kind of closed the candle at 70 to 80%. So there wasn't a lot of upside wicks to candlestick, but there's always downside wicks, which one could argue, hey, pianomattyb, that's pretty bullish. That means we have these epic leveraged shorts or longs that get cleared out because they're simping on leverage, and then the bulls come back in. You might say the men come back in and buy at the bottom. And then, of course, the 2025 bull run, men start leveraging their positions as soon as they get liquidated. It's crazy. It's like I would almost think, it's like, where's this money coming from where everyone could just go long with leverage and get liquidated? It's crazy to me. So yeah, I'm happy on the 4-hour chart that there hasn't been a wick that we have to liquidate. Let's see on the daily if we've got one. Yeah, we do. I'd say that that's at 103, right? That was the biggest liquidation in Bitcoin histoire. Now it didn't feel like it as I watched it drinking my coffee at 1:30 in the afternoon. Didn't feel like it. Was that last Friday? Yeah, what? No, 2 Fridays ago. 2 weeks ago was the biggest liquidation scenario in all of Bitcoin history. It didn't feel like it. The 2021 bear market going down 50% in the middle of the double peaks, that felt pretty violent. The 18% drawdown, I don't know. It wasn't pretty, but like if you really think about it, just look at what it did. You know, it just kind of hit the bottom of this channel that we've been in since the end of April. May, June, July, August, September, October, November. 7 months. You know, so when you're in a channel, all you really do is bingo, bango, bongo, the support and resistance until you finally break out. We had 2 breakouts. You can call it that. See, like I said about the wicks, we didn't leave much, you know, to candlestick. Even up here, you know, not much of a wick. They're all, you know, more or less shooting star candles. Barely right here, you know, just barely. But it is what it is. There's not much to candlestick. There's always more on the downside, which is somewhat bullish. It just says that when the leverage gets liquidated, you know, the men in the fire suits go into the burning building and put their longs in. I guess, you know, and it's not like it's kind of like I'm using a metaphor for humans, but I don't think it's humans. You know, it's definitely not retail anyway. It maybe some bigger positions, some bigger institutions buying at those bottoms. Maybe. Denny Kane. We are all like that meme in the dog drinking coffee while the house burns. Yeah, this is fine. That's exactly what I was doing. I was drinking coffee, looking at it, going, "Ooh, 116. She's probably going to go to 102. Like that's been weighing on my soul." Well, there she goes. 108. Crazy. Yeah, I guess it's going to hit 102. Oh, wow. 103. There it is. Close enough. All in an afternoon. All within a cup of coffee, really. That's how violent these moves can be. Within a cup of coffee, let's say you have 1 Bitcoin and it's at 125. Think about the 1 cup of coffee, what happened to your, you know, net worth, so to speak. Your net worth was 126 when you poured the cup of coffee. You look at it, 126. Nice. Makes this cup of coffee even better. Excuse me. And then you jack tripper, and you spit it out, and you're like, holy shit. I just lost $22,000 in a cup of coffee if you had a Bitcoin, right? That's priced in fiat currency, though. Unrealized gains, unrealized losses. So it really makes no difference. What are you going to do? Going to sell at 126 and, you know, pocket some fiat currency and buy some jujubes and VCRs and Rubik's cubes. Maybe another karate suit for the coming bear market. Maybe put the trombone back to the music store, get it all greased up, so you can wah, 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 for the next 3 years. Maybe. Let's take a look at some of these metrics that are going on here. What is the fear and greed? 31. Not as bad as I thought it would be. I thought we'd be in the 20s for sure. Again, these are bullish times. So you have to understand that, and I know you do, all these indicators are basically contrarian indicators, right? when the fear is high, it's always the time to buy. Do people use that? Fear is high, time to buy? Maybe. I've never heard it, but I don't get out much. And when I do, I never say goodbye. You see, that's the theme of today's live stream. Fear is high, time to buy. I'm going to say I just did that. If I didn't, let me know. I don't care either way. Dipping beneath 3.7 trillion overall crypto market cap. Let's see these outflows. Wow. Okay. So yesterday, a minus $500 million. That's some serious money coming out. Doesn't seem, maybe we haven't felt the pain of that. Maybe it takes all these wonky oracles that, we are the future of the blockchain. Once we get our shit together, and maybe they'll all reconcile on Saturday night during the piano live stream, so we can all, watch the price go down in real time. Day before that, another $500 million. Wow. So $1 billion in the past 2 days. Substantial. Now you would think maybe over here, $500 million, I think that would pump the price maybe, right? It only takes the price down, unfortunately. You didn't read the asterisk on the white paper agreement. Heavy inflows do nothing. In fact, it lowers the price. Heavy outflows, however, also dumps the price. Excuse me. Yeah, pianomattyb. How does the price go up then if major inflows dump the price and major outflows dump the price? What did I tell you about asking these questions, pianomattyb? I told you to shut up and hodl. God damn it. Okay, sorry. What else are we looking at here? Oh, here we go. Crypto ETFs net flow minus 700,000. It's crazy. Andre P. The normies and the quote-unquote influencers on X are saying lots of long-term holders are selling via on-chain analysis. Then we have Saylor and Fink scooping it up, leading to price going sideways. Now, if there's one thing I harp on this channel, probably to the chagrin of most, is the concept of losers losing, right? So never mix or conflate early adoption to intelligence. A lot of these people were trying to buy some sort of weird Dungeons and Dragons game that they could only buy, with 1,000 Bitcoin. So like 1,000 Bitcoin, how much is that? It's like $100. God damn it. All right, well, I guess I'll buy 1,000 Bitcoin for $100. Boom. It's very few of these long-term holders were white paper visionaries. This is the future of finance. This will change humanity. A lot of them just kind of lucked out, and then sat on it forever. Now we got to tip our hats to sitting through 2 or 3 bull markets, because I know I always talk with Scotty J, who was in the Blackout City Kids, who was in the movie, who was my business partner and during the poker days. And at those times, anyone could have sold us anything. We'd buy it. We were just pretty flush with gauche. And if someone had some, hey, there's this internet money. This was 2010, 11, right? It was just prime. This is why it's weird that it didn't work out in our simulation. We would literally buy anything. We were going to Vegas for 2 weeks of every month, just partying like rock stars. Now, if someone would have came up and said, "Hey, you want to buy this classic Dungeons and Dragons board game for 1,000 Bitcoins or 2,000 Bitcoins?" What do you mean? Well, you got to give me 2,000 Bitcoins, and I'll give you this Dungeons and Dragons. It's like, how do I get Bitcoins? Well, you just go to this, meet me in this van in Polo Park, this mall we have. I'll slide the door open. I'll give you a little piece of paper. You give me $200 and I'll give you 2,000 Bitcoins. Now at that point, we would probably give them, can we get $1,000 worth of Bitcoin? You know, but in 10,000, right? It was nothing. Money ain't no thing back then. And that, well, imagine that. Now, had we done it, we would have sold it at 10K. Let's say we bought $1,000 worth of Bitcoin back in 2010. We would have for sure sold it at 10K. Right? And let's say one of us lost the piece of paper or the laptop it was on, and we somehow found it 4 years later, and it was 70K. We would for sure have sold it because we weren't really immersed in the ethos, the orange palaciousness of Bitcoin. We were just speculative degenerates who would have 10x'd in a heartbeat. And at that point, we put in 1,000, we're taking out 70. That was the best thing we ever did in that whole 6 years of the poker business. So you got to give kudos to their hold-onitude, right? Their hodl ability. But again, think about it. Long-term holders selling into what? Obviously, they don't know anything about finance. They're selling into fiat currency, taking a massive amount of tax on it. 50%, is it? I don't know what capital gains are in U.S. long-term capital gains. So what is the argument for that? Well, they want some lifestyle chips. They want to buy a house. They want to. Hi, buddy. What's going on? Want to say hi to everyone? Can you even sit on my lap anymore? Oh boy. Yeah, there you go.
Can I play a song?
Sure, but hold on. Let's get the.
It's Halloween.
That's right. Do you have a Halloween song? Can you hear that? Is that on?
Yeah.
Let's see. No, it isn't. You little scoundrel. Okay, go. Unbelievably well timed, seeing as though it's Halloween. Hey, do you want to do a real quick? Someone said Radiohead. You want to do a quick little Radiohead? Remember what we talked about? Deep breaths.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give it a shot.
You hear before.
Oh, are you not singing?
I am.
Oh, is this an intro? Okay, gotcha.
You before. Could look in your eye. You're just like an angel. Your skin makes me cry. You fall like a feather in a beautiful world. I wish I was special. I wish I was special. but I'm afraid. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. She's running out the door. She's running out. Run, 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 run. I don't care if it hurts.
Whatever makes you happy.
Whatever you want. I wish I was special. I wish I was special. But I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing here? I don't belong here. I don't belong here.
Unbelievable. Look, you're pumping the price kind of. It was like down at 108 a few hours ago. Good job, buddy. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. Take care. Make sure you like and subscribe and share this video.